Welcome back to OmniFoot TV. This is your host Omar speaking, and today I'm going to be providing a short preview for Group A of Euro 2021. And yes, I'm calling it 2021. There is no way you're going to get me to call it Euro 2020. Advertising just doesn't stick with me. Anyways, moving on. Turkey, Italy, Wales, and Switzerland. I'm going to start off with Turkey. They breezed through qualifiers. They have a wonderful manager in Sunil Guns, who actually led them to the semi-final of the 2002 World Cup. Their best Euro finish was at the semi-finals of the 2008 edition of the tournament, and they have a good number of players playing abroad outside of Turkey in, I think, all of Europe's top 5 leagues. Most notably, they don't have many players in La Liga, but their squad is dominated by players in the Premier League, Ligue 1, Bundesliga, and Serie A. And most of those players who are starting out, I think 8 of their 11 main players in their starting 11 are all based in Europe's top 5 leagues and all have starting positions and are, they're actually established players at their clubs. I think Yilmaz is the best example, who, in case you don't know, is actually Turkey's second all-time top scorer under Hakan Şükür with 28 goals to his name. The one thing that I'd like to also highlight is the fact that they've beaten and drawn against France throughout qualifiers, which is probably a huge thing, not just for Turkey, but for any other team that is looking to face them in the tournament in this group. I think that Sunil Guns is one of the most experienced coaches in the tournament. That's actually a fact. It's not really a thought. He is the oldest coach in this tournament. Most probably you could call him the wisest. He has done really well to just galvanize this Turkey team, put everyone on the same page, because it's not necessarily easy to get players together who play for opposing sides, especially if it's on a local level in Turkey. Anyways, in regards to who I think is crucial, I would say that Yazici and Yilmaz are the two most important players in their team. Under could definitely change a game if he wanted to. Çelik has been brilliant this season. Çalhanoğlu has been good for Milan, but he hasn't been on his best, in my opinion. And Söyüncü has been quite solid for Leicester this entire season. So you could say that they have this great crop of players that could genuinely cause multiple upsets if given the chance. I would say that they could easily top the group if, and only if, they managed to break down Mancini's Italy, who I will now get to. Mancini took over Italy at the tail end of 2018, after they failed to qualify for the World Cup. In 25 games, they've scored 75 goals. They've had a brilliant defense. They've not lost more than 2 games under Mancini up until this very point. And the most shocking stat that I ran into was that Mancini broke Vittorio Pozzo's record of 10 consecutive wins as Italy manager, and he did it by the time he reached his 6th Euro qualifier. Italy went on to win each and every one of their qualifiers, meaning that Mancini secured Italy's place at the tournament 2 or 3 games before their qualification road ended. I would say that Italy have the best chance of topping this group, and I would predict that they would top this group. Their top players are currently, in my opinion, Immobile, Barella, Locatelli. I think Locatelli could be very key, could be very crucial. I wrote them down because I tend to forget things, and it's perfectly fine for someone to forget things, right? Immobile. Jorginho, if he actually plays as well as he has under Tuchel, could be very instrumental. Chiesa, who has been great for Juventus, who's been the player Juventus fans have been raving about, and for good reason, who I think, to be honest, could do very well with the side if given the chance. Italy's first game is against Turkey, which I previously mentioned, and I think that game is going to answer a lot of questions. I think Italy and Turkey are equally capable of causing upsets in this tournament because both are being looked at as dark horses. Now, I would go on to also say that they have 2 of the best managers with the most credible CVs and reputation, as opposed to, other managers who I will go on to mention when their groups show up. Moving on to Wales. Their manager, in my humble opinion, is the biggest question mark that I have here. excuse me for half a second, because he took over from Ryan Giggs, and I didn't necessarily know his name. Robert Page. Robert Page's experience, to my knowledge, has been very minimal in management. He managed Nottingham Forest most prominently a couple of years ago. Giggs' Wales finished second in their group, and the only reason he was let go was because of some off-field circumstance, which I won't go into. I think that Wales have a very good chance of finishing third, and I'll explain why. They don't necessarily have the same impact on the pitch as their supposed golden generation did their last time out in Euro 2016, which was, by the way, their best ever finish, reaching the semi-finals and losing to eventual winners Portugal. Their key players are Neco Williams, Ethan Ampadu, Gareth Bale, and also, this is all my opinion, and Daniel James, who hasn't had that prominent a role for Manchester United, but I think that he could actually do some good on the flank if he and Gareth Bale can maintain fitness, and the focus is on Bale. If he can actually remain fit throughout the tournament, and these young crop of players can do well, then I would say that they have a chance of finishing in third. It would be very difficult for them to finish in second, but, football. We'll see. These are my predictions. I could be wrong. For all I know, Switzerland will top the group, and Italy will finish fourth. Please don't let that happen. Anyways, on to Switzerland. Under Vladimir Petkovic, they've actually finished in the round of 16 of the last Euros, which was their best finish, as far as I know. Here's the thing. Switzerland are a bag of they don't necessarily have great players, but they're quite static. You'd expect them to get out of the group, but lose in the round of 16. You wouldn't expect them to finish at the end of, at the bottom of their group. And I don't necessarily know where to go with the Switzerland side. I mean, they don't necessarily provide much in terms of individual flair apart from Shaqiri, who is going to be key to them despite the fact that he hasn't been that present in Liverpool's side this season. Petkovic actually has experience coaching certain Swiss sides, most notably Young Boys, for a long period of time, and Lazio recently before actually taking over the Swiss job in 2014. He's led them to the round of 16 of the World Cup and the past Euros. I think their key players will be Ricardo Rodriguez, mainly because of how well he is at set pieces. I think he's going to be quite the danger. You have Shaqiri, Fabian Schär, if he can maintain being fit because he's been injured for most of the season. Haris Seferovic, who has been absolutely horrible for Benfica this season, but for some reason he turns up for the national team. And most notably in defense, Manuel Akanji for Borussia Dortmund, who, in my opinion, should be their main key player because they really need to tighten up their defense. My prediction ahead of what each side is going to face is that, first of all, this group is, you could call it a little even if you don't look at the teams on paper. You have a good Swiss side, not necessarily solid, a good Welsh side, a good Italy side by their standards, and a good Turkish side. The only thing that I found more not necessarily amusing, the only thing I found interesting is that these teams are actually steps, or it's basically a staircase group. That's a weird term to use, a staircase group, because Italy is the best team on paper, Turkey is the second best team on paper, Wales are the third best team on paper. With their I would call them the best third team on paper, mainly because of their squad. If we were talking pure management and the team itself, I'd put Switzerland in third. Retracting a previous statement, I would definitely say that on paper, Italy would finish first, Turkey would finish second, Switzerland would finish third, and Wales would finish fourth. Now, as I've said, Turkey could cause a major upset and finish first. And I don't think it would necessarily be an upset because most people aren't really focused on Italy, nor are they expecting that much for them, which is kind of odd. So yeah, this is my video on Group A. These are my predictions. Apologies for feeling a bit nervous. It's just that I prepare for these videos and I kind of tend to forget certain things, so I just go back to my notes. I'm going to finish up and go into Group B. So I'll just stop this here. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you think I said anything that you disagree with, if you have a different perspective that I could possibly learn from, just let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. The links to our social media accounts are in the description below. And I will see you next time the whistle blows. The Euro is 5 days away, and I genuinely can't wait. I'm going to provide predictions for every group and for every stage, so stay tuned for the video on Group B. Cheers, everyone. Thank you for watching.